Hi, I'm Eddie Irvin with Software Accelerator Playbook, and today we're talking about app blueprinting and what it means to you. Now, if you're trying to make an app, there's a section of getting everything started when you just think about what you need, what should be in the app, what pages should be on the app. That entire process, that discovery process, is called app blueprinting. And if you do it properly, then when you head into the next section, actually getting it built, you're not going to waste money, you're not going to pay too much for services, you're not going to have nightmare communication with developers, and you're not going to need to pay to get something developed twice, which is what happens a lot where people build something the first time and they realize that the developer didn't understand what they needed. So here's the process. This is my process that I go through to do app blueprinting. This is what I help my clients with. So this is step 1, 2, 3 is all about the vision, right? We're defining the problem, we're narrowing the focus, and then we're iterating that vision to make sure that we really understand everything that needs to be in the app. Step 4 through 6 is all about getting it on paper, really determining, exactly how many pages, what data's on the pages. And then you can see step number 6, structure data. This is like putting up shelves in the kitchen, right? If you imagine that data is like a bowl or a plate, you can put the plate on the shelf in the kitchen, right? So structuring database is about laying those shelves so we know exactly where to put the data. And then step 7, 8, and 9, we are finalizing the plan. We're clarifying what platforms it needs to be on, web and mobile, and then making some trade-offs in terms of how much you want to spend now versus later. You can save a lot of money for talking through step number 7 properly. And then we're choosing the style, and then we're finalizing the scope. And at that point, once we're done with this thing, having taken it from idea to app blueprint, when you do that, you are then able to take that blueprint and get quotes from all these different development teams. So take a look at this. So this is the typical way it's done right now, where you have to communicate with this dev team, you have to communicate with this dev team, you have to communicate with this dev team. You're basically reaching out to all these different teams, and every single time you have to do the work. Here you are. Boop, boop, boop. You are the person who is contacting all these different dev teams, and you're doing the work to explain everything you need. You're trying to explain your best. You're trying to tell them what you need. Every time you contact them, you're saying, hey, here's kind of what I'm thinking. And then on the other end, they're trying to understand, right? So they're over here going, what do you need? Right? What do you need? They're trying to figure it out. Now that is very laborious. It's intensive. It's difficult to do that kind of thing because you, as a non-technical founder, you have to be able to explain everything that you need, but there's certainly going to be some details that are left out. Maybe the developer is good at communicating, maybe they're not. So there's all this, we're basically playing telephone, trying to get, the idea from what's in your head all the way to the developer. And there's a lot of things that can go wrong in that process. So instead of doing it this way, where you have to do the work and communicate with all these developers one-on-one and have those difficult conversations, what's better is if you create one app blueprint and that goes out. I'm just going to say this is app blueprint right here. And now that goes out from there to multiple different development teams. So what you do is you create this app blueprint first. And once you've got that core idea, then that can be sent very easily to all these different development teams. So in order for this one to be sent to this development team over here, that's an email. Hey, this is what I need. Everything's in this document. Please take a look and get back and let me know what you think. Same thing here. This can be just a simple email. I've got the app blueprint already. Please tell me how much it's going to cost and how long it's going to take. And so it's very, very easy then for you to get this information to all these different development teams, more development teams than you would have probably originally talked to, because again, it's really hard to have those conversations. Doing it this way, you are able to talk to so many more different development teams. And then because of that, you can start choosing your favorites. Let's say that you find somebody over here and you say, wow, they really responded well, or I really like I really like the way they communicate with me. Oh, this one has a really great price. This one got back to me really fast, so I know that they're serious. Then, because you've asked so many different development teams, you're then able to just work forward with the ones you're most excited about. So then instead of you wasting all this time talking to all those other ones, all these other ones around here, instead of doing that, you don't waste any of that time. And instead, you go straight to talk to only these three, and then you choose, maybe this one is more solid, this one's more solid, and then you knock this one out. You are now rushing towards your goal, having brought forward only the best options. And then that way, when you make your app blueprint first, when you do this first, that's what enables you to go about it a different way. When you create your documentation, your strong documentation, your scope, your map of everything you need in your app, when you do that first, you are able to then stack the deck in your favor and contact these companies and get the best result and get the best price with the best communication. So if you'd like help with this, or if you want to know more about the process, please go to saplaybook.com/YT and put your email in there, and I'll send you a 9-step process, the 9-step process that I use, which is right here. Let me just erase this real quick and bring that back on screen so you can see it. This app blueprinting process, which then helps guide through getting the idea to that finished app blueprint, which then allows you to communicate to all these developers very easily and get the best price for your app and choose the best team that you want to move forward with. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow.